Joining me now is Dr. Ben Carson, a former Republican presidential candidate and current advisor to the Trump campaign. Dr. Carson, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start with Michigan, your original home state. Do you think that Donald Trump can actually win this state, which hasn't gone Republican for president since 1988?
I do think so. I was there yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and just a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. But you have to look at a state like Michigan, which was once a big manufacturing state, and you look what's happened. And a lot of that can be attributed to some of our trade policies and some of the regulatory issues. A small manufacturer, for instance, has to pay $34,000 per year per employee in regulatory costs. It makes it very difficult to compete with others in other nations. So, I think those kinds of things will resonate. And as I've said before, I really don't think this is about Democrats and Republicans. I think it's really more about the political elite class and the people.
I want to play for you a clip from a brand new TV ad from a liberal group, Priorities USA. It plays the song "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman" while showing empowering images of women, and then it takes a turn. Take a look at this clip.
Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You're the key to my peace of mind.
She ate like a pig. Does she have a fat ass? Absolutely. Boob job is terrible.
She's a slob.
Lips are too big, solid 4.
Disgusting pig.
Flat-chested is very hard to be a 10. I moved on her like a bitch.
The ad ends with the tagline, how does Donald Trump make you feel? What would you say to a woman voter out there who watches that ad and says, Donald Trump makes me feel like he does not respect women?
Well, I would say look at what he's done with his organizations, promoting women to high positions long before it was fashionable to do so. But I would also say, this is an incredibly important election coming up, and the issues are incredibly important. Please think about your children, think about your grandchildren, and what kind of a nation do we want? In one direction, we go toward a government-centric nation, and the other one, we go toward a people-centric government, which was the original intent. I think that's a very important issue, and don't be sidetracked.
Donald Trump has long boasted that he's given tremendously to charity for decades. A Washington Post investigation this weekend reported, quote, Trump had sought credit for charity he had not given or had claimed other people's giving as his own. There are 8 days until the election. Wouldn't a simple way for Mr. Trump to quiet his critics be to release his tax returns so the public can find out how much he does actually give to charity?
I suspect if he were to release them, there would be so much flutter about it that we certainly wouldn't be talking about the critical issues. We need to be talking about the economy and jobs and immigration and our stature in the world and the military and our children, education, our prison system, not to mention health care, my goodness. I mean, these are big issues for people right now.
Let me ask you a question about Iraq and ISIS. Mr. Trump has insisted that the battle for Mosul is not going well and that he could teach U.S. generals a thing or two. Iraqi troops are right now preparing to enter the city itself. They say the campaign's going faster and better than originally anticipated. Does that mean Donald Trump was wrong, or are the Iraqi, Kurdish, and U.S. officials wrong?
Well, when he talks about teaching the generals a thing or two, what he's talking about is in terms of how to stand up, to the commander-in-chief when you have a better idea. That's what he's talking about. Does he know more about military strategy? Of course not.
All right, Dr. Ben Carson, always good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.